It started as a toxic weed. It grew in the dirt. It was misshapen. It was bitter. And it was poisonous. But today, it feeds billions. It built empires. It caused famine. It fueled wars. And it might even feed humans on Mars. This is the story of the potato. Not just a crop, but the vegetable that changed the world. Most people think of the potato as simple food. Cheap, basic, unremarkable. But the potato is one of the most powerful forces in human history. It shifted the global food system. It reshaped populations. It changed agriculture. It influenced politics. And it shaped the modern industrial world. From a toxic wild tuber in the Andes to the fourth most important crop on Earth, the potato is not just a vegetable. It's a revolution. And this is how it happened. About 8,000 years ago, in the high mountains of what is now Peru and Bolivia, wild potatoes grew above 12,000 feet. These were not the round yellow potatoes you see today. They were small, bitter, and highly toxic. They contained glycoalkaloids, natural compounds that made them dangerous to eat. But indigenous peoples learned how to detox them. They soaked the potatoes in cold mountain streams. Then they froze and thawed them over several days. This process broke down the toxins, and suddenly, a poisonous weed became food. By the 1400s, the Inca had mastered the potato. They built terraces on mountain slopes to grow over 3,000 different varieties. Each variety was tailored to a specific microclimate. Some grew in dry zones, some in wet zones, some in extreme cold. And they invented chuño, freeze-dried potato blocks that could be stored for up to 10 years. This was not just food. It was logistics. The Inca could move armies, feed workers, and sustain their empire because they had a stable food supply that didn't rot. The potato was the first global superfood, and it started in the Andes. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 1500s, they brought the potato back to Europe around 1570. But Europeans didn't want it. At first, they used it only as food for sailors to prevent scurvy, or as meals for the sick and the poor. For nearly 200 years, the potato was hated. People thought it was suspicious. It grew underground. It was misshapen. It belonged to the nightshade family, which included poisonous plants. Rumors spread that it caused leprosy, that it caused flatulence, that it caused moral corruption. In Russia, the Orthodox Church called it the devil's apple. In Scotland, Presbyterians refused to eat it because it wasn't mentioned in the Bible. The potato was seen as unnatural, as something corrupt, as something that belonged to the lower classes. Europeans didn't reject the potato because it was bad. They rejected it because it was unfamiliar, and unfamiliar food is dangerous. But rulers saw something others didn't. In Prussia, King Frederick the Great realized that invading armies could burn grain fields above ground. But underground potato crops survived. Potatoes were strategic. In 1756, he ordered peasants to grow them. But he knew they wouldn't obey unless they thought the crop was valuable. So he planted a royal potato field. He guarded it with soldiers, and he made it look like something important. Peasants sneaked in at night and stole the seed potatoes. They thought they were taking something valuable. And that's how the potato became popular in Prussia. In France, a man named Antoine Augustin Parmentier took over the campaign. He was a military pharmacist who had been held as a prisoner of war in Prussia, where he lived entirely on potatoes. When he returned to France, he ran a PR campaign. He hosted potato-only celebrity galas. He convinced Marie Antoinette to wear potato blossoms in her hair. He even repeated the guarded field trick. And suddenly, potatoes became fashionable. The potato was no longer food for the poor. It was food for the elite. Because rulers realized, if you control the food, you control the population. And the potato was the most efficient food they had. But efficiency has a cost. Under British rule, impoverished Irish Catholic tenant farmers were forced onto tiny plots of poor soil. 1 acre of potatoes could feed a family of 6 for a year. So the entire nation became dependent on a single genetic variety, the Irish lumper. There was zero diversity. In 1845, a water mold called Phytophthora infestans arrived on cargo ships. It caused a blight that turned healthy crops into rotting black mush overnight. Because there was no genetic diversity, the blight returned every year until 1852. Over 1 million people died from starvation and disease. Another million emigrated on coffin ships to Boston, New York, Liverpool. The famine permanently changed global demographics. It created massive Irish communities in the United States. It reshaped politics. It changed agriculture. And it taught humanity a lesson. Dependency on a single crop is dangerous. Genetic diversity is not optional. It's survival. After Ireland, the world changed its approach. Scientists began cross-breeding potatoes for resistance. Today, the potato is the 4th most important crop on the planet. China is the largest producer, over 90 million metric tons per year. India is second. But the potato is not just food anymore. Potato starch is used to make paper, adhesives, textiles, biodegradable plastics, synthetic rubber. It's in your products. It's in your packaging. It's in your industry. And in 1995, the potato became the first vegetable grown in outer space aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. NASA sees the potato as a primary candidate to sustain future human colonies on Mars. High caloric density, low water requirements, ability to thrive in poor soil, from toxic weed to Mars food. The potato is not just a crop, it's civilization. So when you think about the potato, don't think about fries. Think about history. Think about empires. Think about famine. Think about industry. Think about the future. Because the potato didn't just feed humanity. It changed the course of history. And it might just feed us beyond Earth. If you want more deep dives into the hidden history of the things that shaped our world, hit subscribe now. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section, and please share our channel.